Bobby? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Bobby?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
man.
I can hear you now.
I'll say, you ever can you hear me? I'm like,
Oh,
what the hell is going on?
maybe you were on mute or whatever.
Yes, it had to be something.
All right. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm relaxing right now.
Oh,
Relaxing.
okay. Did you have to work today?
Absolutely, absolutely. I got off a couple hours ago. What times it was? Well, it's 9 over here, so I've been off about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
Okay. And were you late to work today?
Is that a rhetorical question?
Kind of,
Uh,
because, you already told me that's your pattern now.
yeah. Yeah, it is. Um, yeah, I was about an hour and 21 minutes.
So you
Yeah.
really pushing it, huh? Is it because like you kind of indirectly want to be let go? Is it at that point where you just don't care? Because I know how it could be being a Sag, and let me just explain, because this is being recorded for
Yeah,
my
of course, of
viewers.
course,
So
of course.
Bobby was born December 5th, like me. So we have some strong similarities, not just in terms of our birth number and being born on
Mm-hmm.
December 5th, but we both have Capricorn moons. So I totally
Facts.
understand. I can totally relate to what he's going through with this employment situation. So that's why I'm like, okay, are you just trying, like, are you at the point where you're just like, you know what, if I get fired, it's going to be the universe saying, yeah, it's time for me to spread my wings.
um, how can I put it? Well, at this establishment, we have a little bit of leeway.
Hmm.
If I kind of go in detail about it, anybody that's familiar with it would know where I'm working at.
Right.
But they have this thing called personal time off or paid time off. They
Hmm.
have unpaid time off, and they have vacation hours. So they give us a certain amount. They give us, I want to say 2 to 3 hours, depending on which one. Like, for instance, they might give us 2, 3 or 4 hours of paid time off every 2 weeks. And then the same thing, it might be a little less for vacation, a little less for UPT or unpaid time off. So they give you a certain amount. Once you knock all those out, like every from UPT to PTO to vacation, once
Uh-huh.
you knock out all those hours and you leave early, it's an
Hmm.
automatic termination. So with me working at this establishment, I've never worked at any place that basically gives you hours where you can be paid to stay at home, essentially.
Right.
So me being who I am, I cut corners and
Right.
I use it to my advantage. I'll break it up in pieces, and okay, I can be late 10, 15 minutes for paid time off, so I'll get paid for being late 20 minutes, and I'll use the rest for vacation or use the rest for unpaid time off, and then I'll make up the hours by coming in on my off day, get paid a time and a half, so then I'll make up the amount of hours that I missed out plus more. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
but to answer the question specifically, I just, I don't know how to put it. It's not that I've never been fired ever, so I don't think I'll ever want to get fired. Personally, I think it's a pride thing at this point.
Hmm.
But I'm
Well,
kind
since you
of
broke it down
playing.
like you did, I mean, now I understand you're not trying to get fired. You just, you got your way of, working things out, which brings me to the topic of basically tonight's interview, which is all that Scorpio energy you got in the third house. Because what you
Yeah,
just described is Scorpio intercepting in the third house, which you have, and I do have your chart pulled up. You can't see it on your
I'm
end.
looking at it.
Oh, you are?
I'm looking
You
at it
can
right now.
see it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
absolutely.
good. So you can see it. So you see how you got all that Scorpio. And let me just explain to y'all. I did a video natal chart reading for Bobby. When was it? Last year sometime?
Hmm.
Has it been a full year yet?
It'll be the session that we had was last. It started between, I want to say, in spring, last spring. So what month are we in? March. So
Mm.
we're talking about. I got into the poly relationship in February. January, February, March.
And when
It'll be a year.
okay.
It'll be a year and 2 months.
And
It'll
before
be a
I
year
go
and 2 months.
oh, a year and 2 months. Okay, so before I go off on a tangent, because I'm going to talk about, what was going on, if you don't mind, when you first came to me for a
Perfect.
reading.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Do your
I was
thing.
just saying, you working everything out about the time off, the unpaid time off, the hour taking a little bit here and there. That is so Scorpio, intercepting and in the third house, because it's like your mind is always calculating and trying to figure how you could get around this and work this out and all that type of stuff. And Scorpio is the type that will cut corners if they could get away with it and make the most out of their money and all that type of stuff. So I commend you for that, actually, because I'm like you already said, employment is not really your thing, but you got to do what you got to do. So why not,
Hmm.
if you can get around certain things and stuff and still remain within the parameters of, what is legitimate, what is acceptable at your
Absolutely.
job so you don't get fired. I'm all for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely not. I mean, if you're making that point, it actually reminds me of something that I've done previously.
Mhm.
It might be a common thing with me, actually, because the same approach that's being highlighted right now is an approach that I used when I was in high school. Like, for instance, I didn't like high school. I didn't like school at all. I thought school was more of a social aspect or a social thing more than it was like a learning process. Like, I don't think it was like I don't think that it was for instance, I put it this way. I learned more from watching people than I did from the curriculum, from the things I was actually being taught, from the books,
Mhm.
from the papers that was being printed out by the teachers in the fax machine rooms, and et cetera, et cetera. I learned more from talking to the staff members and observing my classmates and the understanding the social order of rather it was, people who were aggressive, people who were bold, or, the qualities of being pretty, the qualities that came, or the gifts and the privileges that come with being deemed attractive physically, and, you know, uh, everything in between. I learned more about that in a social realm than I
Mhm.
did the actual educational, you know, aspect of it. And I was a terrible student,
Mhm.
terrible. I think I might have graduated high school with like a 2.1
Mhm.
GPA,
Now,
but I
what would
was
you
like,
say the reason for that was? Like, why you were a terrible student?
um, well, I remember when I was in the 8th grade, I had one of the staff members who would go from the high school to the middle school, and I remember her, Miss Kelly. She would come she came to our class, and she said, y'all going into high school. I'm gonna let y'all know now. Don't end up like the students that I have now that are seniors that are crying because they're not about to graduate because they didn't handle their responsibilities their freshman and sophomore year. So
Mhm.
whatever you do in the beginning will catch up to you in the end. So in my first couple of years, it's basically really the first year to be specific, I did more chasing girls than I did studying. So I did more of this. Like what we doing right now, late night talking to a woman,
Mhm.
talking to a girl. I did more of this than
That
I
makes
did
sense.
studying and
Mhm.
doing anything else. So especially with the fact that I went to the suburbs and going to the suburbs, I was just green. I was just so excited to be out the hood. So I was like, oh, well, I was just kind of just chasing the cat. So then I kind of got myself in a hole, and then life takes its course, and you just kind of never really pick that back up. But then again, I've always been that way. Even when I was in middle school, I've never really been a good academic student, but I've always was deemed, the most intelligent or one of the most intelligent, especially when I got into high school. Like I told you in previous conversations,
Mhm.
um, I got the most likely to be the president of the United States, and Mr. Know It All, Mr. Intellectual, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist. But I was a terrible student. terrible. I was,
Th- I was going to ask you
I got,
about the conspiracy theories, though, that because that's so
yeah,
Scorpio in the third too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I used to torment my fellow students. Like we would be in class and we'll have like these little contests where one side of the room would be one side of the room with students, there'd be another side of room with students, and he would pick individual, pick us individually to represent our side and answer these particular questions. And
Hmm.
whenever I would answer the question correctly, I would throw up the devil horns behind the teacher's
Wow.
back, and they're like, he's Illuminati, he's Illuminati, crazy, Nick's crazy, oh whatever.
Being
And
controversial. That's so Scorpio in the
exactly,
third. Hmm.
exactly.
Now,
And
oh, go ahead.
and I loved it. I loved it. Like I fed off the shit. Like I thought it was just hilarious. It just to rile people up all the time. And they think I was crazy. I just I just thought it was funny. I found it, I found humor in fucking with people in that aspect, of course.
Now, have you ever had sex in school because you got that Scorpio in the third, or like got sexual, messed around, anything like that?
Um, I remember I had girls try to give me massages, and I've been I had girls usually I had a few instances, but it wasn't actual like sexual intercourse. It would be like I remember it's on a notebook, the little spiral springs that's on the side of the notebooks and shit.
Yes.
I remember when I remember in middle school, I was talking to this girl, this little slim, tall girl with these big lips. She had these big ass lips, nice lips by the way. I don't say that in a mean way. She
Hmm.
had these big full lips, and she would flirt with me all the time. I remember when we were kids, we would pull them off the notebook, and she would like tap my shoulder to get my attention,
Hmm.
and then she would pull down the springs and would suck on it like it was a dick in the middle of class.
Was she
You
a
know,
Scorpio?
yeah, I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. I had, we had like girls like try to touch my butt. I'll like, be going into my locker, grabbing stuff, and girls would smack me on my butt, and it'd be I would turn around and be like a gang of girls. I couldn't tell you who it was. They'd just be, I'll turn around after cussing them all out, and they'd just be giggling and shit. And we would have like when I was a senior, we had like a smack booty Friday or some shit where we would go around and have a contest on how many girls we can like smack on their ass,
Hmm.
and we will count them up at the end of the day. Girls would chase us around and then smack us on the ass too. So I had like crazy little experiences like that, but nothing too extreme. I was very cautious in regards to that because a lot of girls was underage. I just had this big fear of getting caught trying to run a train on a chick or messing with a chick that wasn't of age and consent. I've always had that paranoia. Even when the homies was like, "Yo, we about to get about this little young, about this young bitch, you about to, ooh." I'm like, nah, you don't want to, nah. What you mean? I'm like, nah, because when I do it, it'll be the time I get caught and I get locked up. So
Right.
no, my paranoia was just, it was too vast. It was too big.
Now, tell me, you mentioned, going to, I think you said middle school or high school, you were able to go to the suburbs, and that was a nice break from
Mm-hmm.
the hood. So when you got Scorpio intercepted in the third house, that can be indicative of growing up in the hood, being in a high crime environment,
Mm-hmm.
hearing gunshots at night, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
can you share some of the stories that you've had growing up? And didn't you
Yeah,
say
of
that
course.
there was, wait a minute, I hope I'm not mistaken, you with someone else, but did you have a childhood friend or a friend of your, who was it? That somebody died? Or
Yeah,
okay.
I have, of course, had my, the girl who, I lost my virginity to, her little brother, who was a little homie, who was my cousin's one of my cousin's closest friends. I used to look after him back when I was in the church summer camps. Back in those days, I used to make him bowls of cereal and watch over him and things of that nature. But he got killed in the streets. Just getting caught up out there. You know,
Mhm.
it's a sensitive topic because he didn't really have much of a chance. Him or his sister really. He
Mhm.
got caught up in the streets. The sister was, she was a wild girl to say the least, but they wasn't really given much of a chance based on how the household was brought up.
Mhm.
But in regards to things about experience, I mean, I remember when I was my very first experience with violence is when I was first grade, and one of the homies in the neighborhood was was coming back from going to the what was it, the movie theater with his girlfriend, and he was walking down the street, and some niggas ran up the street with some hoodies on, and they sliced part of his ear off.
Mm.
And yeah, I remember, I never forget it. All the mothers, it was my mother and this guy who lived across the street mother. They started screaming. My mother was like, "Come in the house, come in the house, come in the house." And the guy was running down the street. I just remember him holding his ear and blood dripping down. It was dark, but you could see something dripping because
Right.
under the street lights, you know what I mean? And I remember him just like trying to run back to his house.
Mhm.
But the neighborhood was very infested with chicks was selling pussy on the eighth, and you see crackheads walking up and down the street. My pops was from the neighborhood. He grew up around here back in the '80s, so all the guys that were '70s and '80s, and all the guys that was fiend out, he went to school with. You know what I mean? So they would cut our grass, and if somebody got robbed, they would resell shit that they robbed from people. It was a weird predicament.
Mhm.
So it was a wild, wild environment. It was, it was worse in other areas. I'll never try to over exaggerate that. I was fortunate in other ways because they always speak about it. There's a difference between being brought up in the ghetto and being brought up in the hood. There's a difference.
Mhm.
One is one is what's the movie? One is Juice, another one is Friday. You know what I mean? One is in the
Right.
project houses, another one's in the house.
Right.
So there's a difference, but at the same time, the element of violence is always existent. You know what I mean? It's always prevalent. It's always there. And like my big homie said, this is not about playing in the dirt. It's about being in the dirt and not getting dirty.
Mhm.
And I always pride myself on, even though being around it, not getting my hands caught up, or getting caught up rather, in
Mhm.
all the bullshit and shenanigans that comes along with the life.
Right. Now, another similarity that me and Bobby share is we're not only Sagittarius suns, but we both have Moon in Capricorn. We both have Scorpio North nodes. So, like I was telling Bobby before, you're going to experience the dark side of life with that Scorpio North node, some way, somehow. And
Yeah.
sometimes it'll be forced upon you, but sometimes it'll be of your own doing. Like you'll just be curious about certain aspects of the dark side. And I do know, fast forwarding to today, you mentioned that
Hmm.
you follow Brother Panic, and
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's a dark dude. Like, cause he leans on the dark side, and I used to watch some of his videos, but then I really can't get into that whole Baphomet thing that he's all into. And I remember you were teasing
Right.
me about like you was like, oh, you all, like all that dark stuff and stuff. But I kind of draw the
Yeah.
line like when people are like wearing a Baphomet and the pentagram, you know, charmed around their neck or whatever like that. So,
Uh-huh.
but that Scorpio intercepting your third, including you got Venus, North Node, Pluto, and Jupiter in your third house.
Mhm.
I'm not surprised that you're drawn to someone like that. So,
Yeah.
how dark do you get in terms of your studies, in terms of, and I know you mentioned that sometimes you have some thoughts too, and you can share that as well in terms of like what you would like to do in terms of sexual fantasies with women. So, first talk
Oh,
about
this is
how,
funny.
yeah, to first talk about how dark your mind goes in general and how dark your mind goes in terms of your studies. Like what are
Um,
you interested in?
all right, I'm just gonna freestyle it, and it'll go whatever it goes, whatever direction it takes. So, you'll guide me in that regard. But
Okay.
I'm just gonna freestyle it. All right, so in regards to the brother panic thing, I lost my what do you say, losing my religion. I lost that about, I want to say, legitimately at 16.
Mhm.
You know, growing up in the neighborhood, we didn't have cable. My mother wasn't, she was grinding. My pops was doing what he was doing in the streets, doing this thing. So we didn't have cable, didn't have access to a computer. We had to go to the public library. That's where most niggas got robbed. And everybody was there trying to, take care of their science project. So when I moved to the suburbs with my pops, he had a computer, and I was so fascinated by it. I'm like, oh my God, a computer. So I spent that whole summer, literally the whole summer in the house on the computer, the
Mhm.
entire summer. And one of my favorite, I'm a big Jay-Z fan, on top of other rappers, but he's one of my favorite rappers. And at that time period, I was pretty obsessed with Reasonable Doubt.
Mhm.
And I would like sit in the dark, kind of like I am now, if I'm laying. But I would sit in the dark and I would listen to the album over and over and over again. And one of the songs he had was called The Evils. And the chorus was Prodigy saying, Illuminati with my mind, soul, and my body. Secret society trying to keep their eye on me. It just stuck to me for whatever reason. So
Mhm.
when I was when I was at my pop's house and I was, researching on the computer and digging up old hip hop songs and getting into the culture, I came across this Illuminati thing, and it has turned into this an obsession. Like I literally went and studied everything. I studied all type of Freemasonry. I studied all type of religions. Was it Hinduism, Buddhism, uh, agnostic, gnostic, all Christianity, all the different variations, Luciferianism, Satanism, Nation of Islam, 5% Nation. I studied everything, the symbolisms, the handshakes, everything. I spent hours upon hours just in the house, just studying this shit, just not knowing what I was doing. I just was just fascinated by it.
Mhm.
I was fascinated about finding out things that I didn't necessarily know. And I just went for the next from that point from freshman year all the way up to I want to say 19. I just kind of went through different parts of my life where I was into different things. The brother panic thing happened when I was going into more of my gymnastic era or time period, and I was getting into metaphysics and Dr. Phil Valentine and Bobby Hemmett and things of that nature. And of course, he was just an extension of that.
Mhm.
Um, but my fascination with the dark side is just that I'm not a real surface person. I'm terrible at small talk.
Mhm.
I was a lot better at it when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I don't necessarily, I'm not necessarily great at it. I'd rather talk about things that's a little deeper.
Mhm.
So if we don't catch a vibe, I don't force the issue. You know, in regards to like the more darker shit, it it, it it can get wild. I mean, most of it really, um, I would say the porn aspect of it is pretty wild. Um, because
Like, give
I
me an
got into it.
example.
Uh, I've seen every sort of porn you can think of, besides
I know
anything
you
that was
had with that
criminal.
Scorpio intercepted because I already know because it's like y'all are so
Yeah,
curious. Because I know of another dude that got Scorpio. It's not intercepting in his third, but it's in his third
yeah,
house. And he told me one time that he watched some bestiality porn because he was curious. And I'm like, I can't even like get
no, I
myself to
never seen
even
it.
think like
Yeah,
that, like
I ain't
to
never, I
go
never
that
seen no
far.
VCR.
Okay, at least you haven't went that far because I'm just
No,
like, but
no, not.
yeah, but you might stumble upon it though, just like looking for other shit with that Scorpio intercepted in the third.
You can say that. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah,
Um,
like
that's,
you could end
I
up
mean,
going too far down the rabbit hole with that shit.
yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think I got really great self awareness from a mental aspect, and I say that humbly. I really do. Like, you know, I got into that shit, extremely young. Um, like even what you was mentioning, and I'm actually about to go a little darker, but in a different context. You made the mention of me having the Scorpio third, and you talked about the Pluto aspects and things of that nature, the neighborhood, and you talk neighborhood, of course, Mercury. That's like people that's closer to your family,
Mhm.
and my early experiences. I can't not mention the fact that I was abused as a young kid,
I was gonna
and
mention that.
yeah.
Mhm.
So with that being said, I have Mars in Leo in the 12th house,
Mhm.
and I have Mars in Leo square Pluto square Jupiter.
Preach.
So
Right.
the
Mhm.
Scorpio and the Scorpio energy I have is in the third house. The
Mhm.
person who abused me is a Leo
Mm.
male. My Mercury is at the ninth degree, maybe. That's the
Mhm.
ninth degree. You look
Yep.
at it.
Yep.
It's the ninth degree is male, right? Isn't that male energy?
Yep. And so is Leo. So
So
is Mars.
yeah. And at this point in time, at this moment, that young man is transgender right now.
Wow.
Now let me
Wow.
preface
I
by
think you
saying I didn't
told
have
me
there
that.
was no yeah, that's true. Now let me mention before I say anything further, there was no anal intercourse, anything of that nature.
I
But
remember you told me that
it
too.
was
Yeah.
yeah, because but it was still, it was what it was,
It was enough to
you
leave
know.
a lasting impression upon you.
Of course,
Mhm.
So when I got into the porn aspect of it, we talking about that shit happened to me when I was 7, 8, and I remember when it happened. It caused a ripple effect within the immediate family. So my pops, him being the Scorpio he is, like, oh my son ain't gonna be on no gay shit, no faggot shit.
I was gonna talk about your father too, because your
My
father's a
pops,
Scorpio, right?
my mother's a Gemini. You know, so
Mhm.
when I got into porn like 8 and 9, it just like it took off. So shit, by the time I was 13, I was like selling this shit. I was selling like little DVDs, bootleg pornos to the homies and at the school and at the in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? So I got into it at a very young age, and I just I attract girls at a crazy rate. So
Mhm.
when I was young, I was timid. Like I really couldn't express my aggression because I lived with an aggressive mother, was a
Mhm.
Gemini, and a very verbally aggressive Scorpio pops. You know what I mean? So if I would try to be my aggressive self, my Sagittarius self,
Mhm.
it was nothing for my mother to smack me or grab me by my throat or something like that. You know what I mean? Or my pops coming at me crazy verbally, and they'll get into a big argument. And at a young age, I had to learn how to be mature. I had to learn how to uh, uh, manage my emotions and manage my thoughts, which allowed me to become more internalized and have more thoughts or having, feeling certain things and thinking things and keeping them to myself rather than verbalizing it. And with the fact that I attract females so much because being a guy, women, even at a young age, young girls expect you to be the aggressor. Because
Mhm.
I didn't, I naturally attracted aggressive girls. So when I would have my sexual encounters with girls, they were always the initiator.
Mhm.
When I told you about the time that, two girls was planning on raping me or having their way with me,
Mhm.
uh, that wasn't something I had any, power over. That was just two girls that found themselves attracted to me and was willing to go to extreme lengths to exhibit it.
How old were
You know
you?
what I mean? So, 12,
12.
12, 12,
Now let me just
you
stop
know,
you right there, just to get sorry, just to catch everybody up to speed in terms of your chart. So everything that you were explaining about your mother, about your father, namely, because especially because we're focused on Scorpio intercepting in the third house. You said your father
mm,
was verbally abusive, and that's the epitome of
violent.
having your father's son in the third house. Now, what's his birth date?
My pops was is November. Damn, what is it? November 11th, 1963. If I'm not mistaken, something along those lines.
So his son is right around, I'll say it's close enough to Pluto to make that impact where, yes, he could be rather verbally abusive.
But
And even
it
the
might be
point,
November 8th.
okay,
Might be November.
But even to the point where, he's saying that my son is not going to turn gay and all this type of stuff. You mentioned also that the sexual abuse occurred around age
Mhm.
7, and your ascendant is at the 7th degree of Virgo, descendant at the 7th
Mhm.
degree of Pisces. So, especially that Pisces that could deal with
Yeah,
somebody victimizing
victimization.
you. Yes. Yes. And
Mhm.
then it even being out in the open where, like you
Yeah.
said, that caused some stress and some drama in your family. So
Yeah.
so you told your mom? How did this get out?
How did my mother find out about it? To be honest with you, so this happened in early 2000s. There was many incidents. I can't pinpoint when she recognized it or when it came to her attention, but I can say the most significant or the most glaring memory that I have when I was a child pertaining to this is when she caught me in the act with somebody based on something that was done to me previously. So I was doing something sexual, and
Was it to a male?
yeah, it was to one of the actually one of our shit. Actually, it was with his little brother.
The dude that
Just the- yeah,
molested you or touched you inappropriately was his younger brother that you were basically
yeah,
mimicking that behavior on?
yeah, absolutely.
And how much younger was he than you?
He's a year older than me.
Oh, he was a year older. And you were how
Yeah,
old around the time?
fuck, what was I? Yeah, around 7, 8. You talking about first, second grade?
Okay.
Yeah,
And you
first, second
said
grade.
your mom
The
caught you.
guy that's a transgender. He's 5 years older than me.
Got you.
Yeah,
So if
he's
you
my big, he's my
were
big brother.
7 at the time, he was around 12.
Yes,
Okay.
13. Stuff like
And
that.
he still lives around like your way and all that? Like you see him like
I
on
don't
a
know.
regular?
I left the city for a couple of
Okay.
years, so I haven't seen him. What was it, 2019?
Mhm.
I haven't seen him since 2014.
And when did he
He's
become
full. He's full.
transgender?
He was in the process around. He started cross dressing around in high school. He went back and forth with it,
Mhm.
and then last time I checked, when he actually like changed his name,
Mhm.
might have been recently. Might have been about a year or two ago. But he was already like doing this shit back in like 2014, 2015.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But it's probably the first time I ever. We spoke plenty of times. It's probably the first time I actually went in detail about it. Wasn't expecting to. And then again, I gotta be honest. Can't help myself.
And because we're talking about Scorpio, and you brought it up. I was going to bring it up anyway, because I know that,
Yeah,
you a Sag, I'm a Sag, we're both fives. We're pretty, open
I do that.
about
Mm-hmm.
things and all that good stuff. Another question I have, um, how's things going with your license situation?
Oh, drive license.
Yeah.
I'm still in the process. Like I told you, I had that big phobia.
Yeah.
Um, I've gotten
Which
over
is
it. So
very
it's
much
just,
Scorpio intercepted in the third.
absolutely. It's kind of a, process. Like I started focusing on other things, taking care of the credit, you know, all the business things and ideas and concepts and things of nature. So, it's still, the snow finally just stopped in the city. So, uh, now that, well, it might come back knowing the city. But if it doesn't and it starts to like smoothing out, then I'll
Mhm.
get back out there, go through the process, knock it out. I already got enough money to buy a car. So it's nothing.
Now
Absolutely.
let me just explain to my viewers about this phobia you have with driving, because it's really dealing with one of the rulers of Scorpio, which is Mars, being in that
Yeah.
12th house at the 28th degree, because you know that 28 can deal with travel, it can deal with a car. Um,
Mhm.
Also, you got Mars squaring Pluto, So you
Yes.
really are at risk. And I'm not trying to scare you, but I've been in
Mhm.
several car accidents, just me being a Sagittarius
Yeah.
with my Mercury at the 16th degree of Sagittarius. That alone can
There you
produce
go.
car accidents. So
Hmm.
you're right to be very cautious. You're right to be very concerned. And you could even be picking up on past life energy because maybe you died in a car accident in a past life. So it could be some past life recall. So my
Hmm.
advice to you is, yeah, go ahead and get your license and stuff, but always practice defensive driving techniques and always err on the side of caution and make sure you pay attention to your intuition because you'll see after a while that driving is very intuitive, which
Hmm.
I'm always trying to tell my daughter. And it's like your intuition will tell you like when somebody's just about to jump out in front of you and stuff like that. So especially since you're a Sag, your intuition is really on point. So that'll help to
Hmm.
keep you safe from harm. And I think I told you before, you need to carry some protection in your car. Some tiger's eye. There's also the wormwood herb that you can keep in a little Ziploc bag and put it in your glove box. But yeah, you definitely need some spiritual protection when you're on the road. But you do have a guardian angel looking out for you. I don't know if I told you that when we were doing the video reading, as
Yeah, I
evidenced
think you
by
said.
that Mars in the 12th. So it looks like a male that, is keeping you safe from harm. But you can't just totally rely on that, of course. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh,
of course you can't just totally rely on. That's why I'm saying you got to
no,
get
no,
some
no, no,
other forms of
no, no,
protection
no.
too
No,
and
I'm talking about
practice. Oh,
the guidance, the guardian. Yeah, like someone looking over. Because I remember we had a conversation about it, and you
yes.
said it was the it was the moon sexed out Jupiter that I had. It was the moon aspects. As you said, that was more of a feminine energy that was
Hmm.
looking over.
But also
So
male
Mars. Well,
because you got Mars in the
that's
12th. The 12th house is the angelic realm. So,
okay. Yeah. Yep.
but
So.
you also could have a deceased female looking out for you as well with that moon sextile Pluto. More than one
Mm-hmm.
actually, because it's conjoined to Jupiter. But I also noticed that you mentioned that you started like selling the porn videos around age 13, and your North Node
Yep.
is at the 13th degree of Scorpio. Your Sun is at the 13th degree of Sagittarius. So that's very interesting. So there was something else I wanted to. Oh, yeah. Do you mind if we
Yeah.
get into your health situation?
Yeah. Go ahead. No wrong.
Because that
Yeah.
is very much dealing with Scorpio intercepting in the third, too. I mean, it's sensitive, but I mean, if you don't mind, I don't mind. We don't have to get all graphic
Oh,
about it, but
yeah. Do your thing.
and it's nothing against you. This is something you were born with. Like this is and it definitely ties into your Virgo ascendant. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people who have Virgo rising will just naturally
Oh, I
have
know what you're about to
problems
talk
like intestinal disorders, digestive problems, things like that.
about.
A lot of Virgo rising have to be very conscious of their diet. So let's talk about that first because I know like you've toyed around with different types of diets, right? Like you thought about, did you think
Yeah.
about going vegan at one point?
I went vegetarian for about a summer. But
Vegetarian.
everybody in the family, yeah, like, oh, Nick, hey, this nigga, ain't you already skinny, nigga? Like, what is you doing? Like, you trying to die? Like,
Hmm.
you already skinny. Like, what is you doing? So it was like, it was funny, and it cost a bit of money, but it was something I was passionate about. Like, I haven't had dairy milk since 2013. I
Okay.
haven't had pop or, depending on where you're from, people are listening. Y'all call it soda, but in the Midwest we call it pop.
Pop.
But we call it pop. So I haven't had pop since 2013. I had since Fabulous dropped this project, what December Christmas on Christmas of 2013, like one of the soul tapes or whatever. That was like the last time I had pop.
Hmm.
So I really went crazy about like eating certain things. I was eating veggie patties and all sorts of shit. And
Hmm.
I have a lot of I don't say a lot, but I have my share of overweight family members. And they was like, what is he doing? Da, da, da. You know, and I think I had an experience where I was working one of my jobs and they had the meat under the cheese on the pizza. And I'm
Hmm.
biting the pizza, not knowing that it's meat under the cheese. And once I ate it, I was like, oh shit, it's got pork in it, all sorts of shit. I'm like, well, fuck. I kind of like gave in to the pressure living with my mother and my sister. I'm like, fuck it, and I kind of caved back in, but I stayed away from the pork chops and all of that.
Hmm.
And I'm still trying to get back into it now. I think I got some black, what's it called? The black seed oil, whatever it's called.
Yes, I have some of that
Um,
too.
I I just got it from Amazon recently, so I plan on using some, especially during my off days. So yeah,
Well,
it's fine.
you being a 5 in terms of birth number, that coincides with you being a Virgo rising. So that's pretty cool. And with your Gemini midheaven. And I'm a
Mhm.
5 too. And fives a lot of times are very health conscious. And a lot of times fives want to learn about health on their own, want to do their own research
Absolutely.
about stuff and all that type of stuff. Now, is it okay we talk about what you were like, that disorder you had when you were born, and the surgery? Because
Yeah,
surgery very
yeah, yeah.
much is a part of Scorpio as well.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So,
I think it was a hernia.
okay, it was
I
a
want to say that.
hernia, and that's very much
No.
Scorpio,
Hmm.
and that's also Virgo as well. So, Virgo rising, you got Chiron in your first house, and that can produce
Yes.
some type of disorder. Was it the type of hernia where it was sticking out your belly button, like making your belly button bulge out, or was it more the hernia like in your groin?
I was a toddler, so I have no memory of it.
Okay,
All I know is my mother used to call me Shitty Boo. So
I remember you
Shitty
told
Boo,
me
shit.
that.
So I can't even remember. Like I might have been the kid, baby, like 3, 4, 5 years old. That's how
Mhm.
early in the process it was. All I
Mhm.
know, she used to give me prune juice and certain juices. I had constipation problems. I had problems using it. I have constipation problems even to this day to an extent. Not as
See,
much as I did
See,
childhood.
I'm telling you, we were alike because I had constipation issues too as a kid, and my dad used to make
Mhm.
me drink prune juice, and I hated that. Did you like the taste of that? It was horrible.
My mother would mix it, and she would slide it into other drinks. So she, like, if I had grape juice or this type of juice, she would slide it in. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Without me, and that was like to help the process. But shit, it was terrible. I remember I was in elementary school. I would call my mother, crying on the phone, talking about I couldn't use the bathroom. I'm constipated. I'm
Oh,
like, Mom, I can't boo boo. I can't boo. I remember like it made me think of all type of old shit I haven't thought about in years. So I remember doing that when I was in elementary school. And she would tell me what to do, and I would have to be patient. I would sit there and wait and wait.
mhm,
And it was real tough. It was real tough. Yeah.
mhm.
My sense of humor is funny because I it made me think of the fact that when I was in my relationship, I would ask my girlfriend at the time to give me them rim jobs.
Oh my God! I didn't know you was gonna go there. Oh my God, that's right. You did tell me that.
Yo, yo,
Oh shit.
yo, because you're making me think of shit, and no pun intended.
Yes, let's
I'm
get
sitting there like,
into it.
yo, that is wild. I ain't forgetting about what you asked me. Like I say, me and we've talked, plenty of times. So, this is the first time we'll actually be recorded and actually uploaded for the people. So
Right.
it's a tad bit different. So,
Uh-huh.
of course, it's a smoothing process to actually get to it so we can, open up like we usually do. 'Cause, even though, how so even though I'm being myself, I'm still being kind of conscious of the professional aspect that's involved with it,
Right, and you know how
but
we can get.
yeah,
But look, but damn, what was I gonna say? Oh, so Scorpio is the sign of taboo. So some of the stuff that we talk
yeah,
about tonight may be on the verge of, borderline taboo and things like that. But hey,
yeah,
you know me, I keep it real.
I don't give a
So,
fuck about none of that shit.
but back up before we get into the whole rim job business, because you need to really paint the picture for the people, because the last time we talked you really like put
Mhm.
me onto some shit, like literally, like about your bathroom habits, and I was like sitting there amazed, like, are you serious? And then this might be a little TMI, but then when we was about to get off the phone, you was all like, actually, I'm on the toilet right now. And I was like, God damn. So do
Yeah,
you want to like talk?
yeah.
Because this is very much Scorpio in the third. The fact that you even
Mhm,
have these conversations about your elimination issues and things like that. And the
mhm.
fact that you got Scorpio in the third that can deal with basically your elimination issues, your bathroom problems can impact your schedule, even like you said that you got to get up at a certain hour in the morning, make
Yeah,
sure you do
yeah,
all your business, all
yeah,
that type of stuff. So
yeah.
elaborate.
Yeah, I wake up like 4 in the morning every day. I'm not supposed. I'm not supposed to be at work until 6:55, 7 a.m. I'll be
Okay.
on the toilet for a whole hour every day,
Damn.
every
Damn.
day. Just chilling sometimes. I just be chilling.
Okay.
It's my
Okay.
peaceful place. Like I can do everything I need to do in that. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like if my dick get hard, I can just grab the black soap, get it popping. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
you told
It
me
just
about that.
that's the game I get. He's like, what? Like, yeah,
Right.
man, get that black soap.
I haven't
It,
heard
it,
about that
it,
black
it,
soap. Using that as a
yeah,
n-
yeah, get that African soap with the shea butter and all that shit that's
you
mixed with
hear
it. It
that,
moisturizes
fellas?
the skin.
Get that
It
African black
moisturizes the
soap.
skin.
You
Yeah,
clean
yeah,
you
get it.
clean your tool at the same time, moisturize it, be
Mhm.
smelling all
How?
good.
She don't even know it.
Wait, tell me something. Like I wonder, like using that soap. Well, it's not really too fragrant, but like, does it ever burn when you get like um soap or certain chemicals in your pee pee hole?
That's for any soap. That's
It
for any
does.
soap. Any soap. Not
So what
nothing like
about
there's
like
no like specific.
then
Oh,
masturbating using that soap? Is aren't you afraid that you're going to get some of that in your pee pee
no,
hole?
nah, it's a technique, baby. It's a technique,
Well, I don't know. I don't have
you
a
know.
dick. I don't know.
No, it's a
Paint
technique
the
for
picture.
everything.
Like, are you just going around the shaft so you don't go up near the head or nothing like that?
No, I've mastered the rotation. I've mastered the movement that it takes for me to get off. So um, y-
You do got,
I'm
yeah, you got
repeating
that
something.
12th house Mars, and that can mean that
Yeah,
you've mastered the art of masturbation.
there's nothing. That's why I don't come quick.
So let
You
me
know,
say, so you really get into it because you know how some people just jack off because I need to come real quick, but other people they really get
nah,
into pleasuring themselves. So you really into
never,
the whole pleasuring
never,
yourself.
never.
Wait, never what?
Um, listen, you making me think of shit that I've never said out loud, right?
Right.
So once I say it, you're gonna shift. I'm telling you, the moment I say this shit, you're gonna switch the conversation to a different direction. I'm gonna have to get it right back on point.
Okay,
Right?
well say it.
This gonna sound crazy.
Okay.
Half the time, half the time, when I'm about to get into the mood to watch porn to masturbate, my bowels move
Oh Lord
almost every
Jesus,
time.
that's at Mars square Pluto and Mars square
So
Jupiter. God damn.
so think about it. When I'm in the morning, let's say I'm constipated, right?
Hmm.
In the morning, if I know I'm having a little trouble and I got the morning wood, what you think?
So you
It
you get the
it
black soap.
eases yeah, it eases the
It
process.
makes
Like
sense
every
because
time.
you're more relaxed, right? Like you're in a relaxed
Yeah,
state. You're not tense.
exactly. It calms the nerves. It's all nerves.
Yep.
It's all nerves.
Yep.
And in regards to the initial question that you asked me, um, just make sure you don't put too much water in comparison to the soap. Like you
Gotcha.
have the soap and you have this certain amount of water.
Hmm.
You focus on placing the water around, not on the tip. The more water it gets to the tip, the more
Hmm.
inclined you are to get inside the pee hole, which affects the actual cum. It might be a little sting. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Let
So,
me ask
like
you
I
this
said,
real
I've
quick.
mastered this shit.
Let me ask
Yeah.
you this real quick. Now, see, some of my viewers they're gonna be like, "For being all flirting," but it's because they don't really know me like that. Because you know me, I'm like real graphic, and
Can,
I'm just very
we
open
can't, we
with it.
can't, we
What?
can't speak on the blog talk aspect of it, can we? Or
What
should I
blog
keep that
talk?
the
You're gonna have to give me
previous
a hint.
our previous discussion on your, or should I, because of the
Previous
current
discussion.
circumstance, should I keep it? Should I close my mouth with that?
Okay, now you really throwing me
You know,
for a
now you
loop.
know what I'm talking.
Just give me one word to
The Virgo,
why
our
not? I was gonna bring her
conversation.
up anyway.
No, no, not
Uh,
her specifically, but our conversation on your radio show last summer.
about Virgo?
No, about the flirting aspect.
Oh, when I
Remember see,
wait, wait, is it because wait, are you saying because the Virgo chick thought that I was flirting with you or whatever? That thing?
no, I was saying no, it's just a continuation, just in case, because under these circumstances, you know how, Bobby, you know what I mean.
Wait, you still
You feel what I'm
now you
saying?
being too mysterious, which is the Scorpio in the third. Like I'm still trying to figure
Oh
out like
shit.
what you leading up to.
Never mind. Never
Wait,
mind. You gonna get it. You gonna get it. You'll get it. Keep going. You
okay.
good. Continue watching a little flirting and shit. Go ahead and do your thing.
I mean, I'm not flirting. I'm just being real.
Mhm. Could-
First of all,
Go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
first of
Say what
all,
you're gonna
you're
say.
young enough to be my son, so you know good and well if I am flirting, it's just because that's how I am, and I just like to make people feel good, just like how you're a big flirt too, aren't you? Because you got,
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
Sagittarius just are flirts.
don't use the age aspect. Come on, we didn't. Come on now. Come on now. You're not enough to be my mother's niece.
I
We're not
did
gonna say
say
that.
that you attract older women too, though.
No, we didn't talk about that in this conversation, but you have spoken about it in
Yeah,
previous
that's what I'm
conversations.
saying. I
Yes.
said that in the past. So yeah, like okay, so let's go there real quick. Let's segue into that. So what's the oldest woman you dealt with?
In what capacity?
Let's just cut right to the chase, like sexually.
Like fucking?
Yeah, no.
That ain't. I'm being sarcastic. Uh, well, fucking ain't that bad. Ain't that bad, believe it or not. I've blown a few opportunities, but the oldest fucking was probably like I'm 24, so we talking about like 35. 35 ain't bad.
Oh, okay, that's not too old.
Ain't bad at all.
But you can attract
Had it.
those older women. I said you would do better with an
Um,
older woman. Remember I told you that?
yeah, you did. You did say that. I mean, they are older women are funner.
I said you
I
could
mean,
have an older woman pay your rent and not me, because I'm not down for that shit. But I'm saying you could have
hey,
some older woman
hey,
pay your rent,
hey,
all that.
I
Mm-hmm.
remember some conversations. I remember some conversations we had. I remember you saying some things.
Yeah.
I know your weakness for the Virgo rises and the Virgo man. I remember you talking about in your old radio in your blog talk about getting dickmatized and fucking around giving a nigga money because the dick too good. You, I remember. I
Wait
keep
a
mental
minute. Are you
notes.
trying to put me on the hot seat? I'm like, how did this turn around to me? Like,
It was a statement you made. I gotta fuck with you.
I mean, your
I got it.
ascendant is in my eighth house. Like, damn, that's
Uh,
anyway.
uh,
Let me stop.
uh,
No, but know what that means? That means I'm very supportive of you because I am. And
mhm,
Bobby is looking forward to taking my course, my astrology course. So I'm
yeah,
looking forward to being his teacher.
mhm,
He's already got a video natal chart reading from me. Like we've talked, quite a bit.
mhm,
So that's why we're so comfortable
absolutely.
with each other. But I'm very comfortable with basically anybody. I can talk to anybody, and that's why people love talking to me because it's like talking to one of
You're
your good
great.
friends or your family or something like that. So
Mhm.
moving along, back to the masturbation thing, I did want to ask, okay, so do you ever incorporate your balls in the masturbation act?
Not really.
Because I
I
don't think
the
most men
most
do.
I the most I do is right before I come. If I'm on the toilet, I would press down on my balls
Hmm.
to kind of like that's like the winning position. Like it kind of enhances the actual. coming or the climax.
Okay,
But I don't
now
do it.
I'm about to ask you something that's like real graphic, and some of my viewers
Go
might be
ahead.
like I hope y'all ain't eating right now. But so when you're jacking off on the toilet, right? Are you
Yeah.
dropping loads at the same time?
No, not at all. That's impossible.
Okay. Okay,
That's impossible.
I had to get it out there because I'm like
No, like
I'm very curious.
sometimes I just be sitting on the toilet, just on IG, going on Twitter. I'm not even doing anything. I'm just
Okay.
allowing my stomach to make its noises and the bowel movements and things of nature. It's not that graphic. Graphic. It might sound a little crazy. Some people just sit on the toilet and they chill. Like that's what I do sometimes. Right? Sometimes
Mhm.
I chill. I just in that process of doing that, I'm allowing my body to go through this necessary process so that I can eventually drop my load. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And sometimes before or sometimes after, I might decide to masturbate. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
It,
So it's
it
like a
come and
morning
go.
ritual that you do, like getting up 4 in the morning, and like ritual is very much part of Virgo rising. So you're
Hmm.
doing this morning ritual, and then you mentioned the whole rim
Yeah.
job thing. You said you like that, and that makes a lot of sense because you got that North Node conjoined to Pluto, conjoined to well, it's not conjoined because that's too far away to be a conjunction, but it's close
Okay.
enough to Pluto to have that influence. And then you got Pluto conjoined to Jupiter. So I'm not surprised. And with your Venus in Scorpio, you know your Venus is right on my midheaven and Uranus. Interesting. But anyway, yeah, you're really, I'm not surprised
We'll
you're
talk
into
about that.
anal play. So,
No, that's the funny thing about it. I'm not really into it, believe it or not. Like, it, how did I? Some people can dabble with things and not be truly interested in it. You know what I mean? And that's for anything. Like some people can
okay, well,
dabble in,
you told me you liked it. Not saying
yeah,
I'm
like
not
for
talking about
instance,
penetration. I'm talking about when a girl
um,
eats
um,
the groceries.
yeah, of course.
Okay.
Like, it's of course, in general, not even in regards to, not even saying it like from a self-conscious perspective, like that too. But in regards to like even for a woman, like when I was watching porn, I never liked the anal aspect. I always thought that was the grossest part.
Mhm.
I would feel the pain that the female looked like she was having. I
Int-
never got into it. I've had girls beg me to do it. I'm like,
Interesting.
eh.
Mhm.
I remember my very first white girl, she begged me to do it. She would drink them fucking Four Locos and smoke that weed and sit there and beg me to do it when she was on her menstrual cycle. It just didn't do nothing for me. The last time I had a fling, I actually put my finger in the ass. I'm thinking it's in the pussy the whole time. We in the
What?
car, she's sucking my dick. Yeah,
How could you
we
make
in the
that
car,
mistake?
she's sucking my dick. We in the car. It's nighttime. She's sucking my dick. I want to be on some spontaneous shit. I just go to the first hole I feel.
Come on, you
I
know
go.
the difference. See, now you're just bullshitting. You know the difference.
I'm caught up in the moment. I swear to God.
Oh my
I swear to
god.
God.
See,
It
this is
wasn't.
something that, I don't think you really want to be truthful about how much you're in.
Oh,
It might be something that like
oh,
grows over time. Cause I'm
I'm
saying you
telling you.
don't make that
I'm telling
mistake.
you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm gonna tell you, let me go how far. Let me tell you how far I went. So she's moaning. Of course, she blessing me. So we doing what we doing. And then when I pull it out, I smell something.
Oh dear
I'm
God.
like, I'm like, fuck,
Now this is
I got
TMI.
the, I got what?
Lord Jesus.
So then I'm trying to play it off, right? So I slide my hand behind her because she gets back up, she sits back in the seat, so I slide my hand back. And when she ain't looking, I smell. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So I'm laughing in my head. Now, I'm kind of blurry. I don't remember if I said something about it, we laughed about it or not. But what I do remember is me rubbing it on the motherfucking car seat.
Hmm.
I
See,
do
let me break
remember.
that down psychologically about what was going on. So this
This is
was
crazy.
subconsciously you really wanted to do it because you wanted to smell the booty like that, and you
Oh
made it
my
seem
God.
like it was a
No.
mistake. Cause come
No.
on, cause no, the way you
I assure
describe
you.
it is you thought you
I assure
smelled
you.
something, right? You know exactly what that smell is. So you go even a step further, put your finger up to your nose so you could really inhale, take a deep whiff. Look, I already know how this Scorpio
Not that.
energy act,
No. I'm
operate.
telling you, you know me. I'm a
It makes you
very,
quite
very honest,
it can make you
very.
compulsive.
Oh my God.
And
You read it.
sometimes,
You know. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
but how
I
about
am
this?
telling you.
I'm gonna put this spin on it. How about
All right, go ahead.
sometimes you could be influenced by external factors and not even realize what you're doing until you do it. And you know what I mean about external
No, no,
factors.
no, no, no. I say this. It's a big thing amongst men about putting their thumb in girls' asses while they getting their dick sucked. That's a natural thing. That's a natural thing.
I know.
Um.
Well, I guess that's
So
some new
I'm not.
generation shit.
Listen. Listen. it- I got it from Lil Wayne. But anyway,
Little Wayne.
10 years ago. We're not gonna talk about
That's
it. Right.
some new
So
generation shit though, for real.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
heard,
it's like
come on now. Yeah, y'all, that's
it's the
y'all
shit.
new jack
No
shit.
pun intended. It's just funny. I just think it's funny, right? So like I told you, it's like my thing. I love car sex. It's just especially oral. Like it just does
Scorpio in
something to
the
me. I don't know.
third.
It's just this shit. Like it's
I
just
swear.
I can't. I'm saying shit way too much. But yo, I just
So
see
Scorpio the third.
you fucking with me right now. But it's where it's at. Like it just does something to me. I never become crazy about it. It's I watch this porno of this dude with a fucking selfie stick recording himself getting head in the car. He had this badass chocolate joint. She had a big fat ass. And she had that shit arched all the way in the air. And all you could, this shit was like Mona Lisa to me. Like it was like art. I'm like, I have to do this. I have to fucking, I have to duplicate, imitate this shit. Like I bought a selfie stick and everything. It was legit.
Oh
Like
wow.
I just watched it again recently. Like this was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I got this shit. You know what I mean? So when I bought the selfie stick, I would like use it. Like I would just always like, yo, push your ass in there real quick. And I just always, I just want to see the head going up and down. It just, oh my god,
So, all
yo,
right, now for my viewers,
crazy.
let me break that down. How he's all into the selfie stick and like making videos and stuff. Cause you like to record,
That's right.
you getting head and
Facts.
stuff like that. So he got Pisces on the 7th, and Pisces is recording videos, taking photographs, having that selfie stick aimed at her ass and head and all that type of stuff. And Jupiter,
So
co-ruler of Pisces, is in his third house, Scorpio, 29th degree, conjoined to Pluto, which reminds me, because when I saw that Jupiter at the 29th degree, that made me think of the
yeah,
whole little love triangle thing. Because remember, that was like one of the first concerns you had about some
mhm,
little love triangle polyamory thing with you and two women. And you told me the
yeah.
two signs, and I was like, what did I say?
He said it was gonna work out well because it was two Sagittarius and one Virgo,
Yep.
and
And who did I say was
one
going to be the one that messes things up?
Virgo actually.
And you said, nah, I think it's going to be the other
No,
one.
it's the Sag. I said it was gonna be the Sag.
And what happened?
Well, it depends on how you look at it.
But you already know. You already see you trying to play nice because she might be listening or whatever like that.
Nah,
But
she's out the picture.
what you
But
say?
she's out the picture.
She
But
that's right, because she don't like me anyway.
yeah, she not.
So
Yeah,
maybe I don't have
she,
to
you,
censor
you,
myself.
you, you, yeah, you the freak that want to get some young dick. That's what it is.
Wait a minute. No, 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 no. See, don't put that on me because I wasn't even like that during that
So
Blog
that's just
Talk Radio episode. That
that's
was
not that's
her.
these are not my thoughts.
She made it
These are
seem
not
like
my thoughts.
no, what she made it seem like I was thirsty for some young dude, and I was telling you, I was like, and I already said, I was like, look, she gonna think that I'm flirting with you and all that type of stuff. She made a big
It
deal
was
out
so
of
funny.
it,
It
and
was hilarious.
but that's why I said I was like, that's that Virgo shit. Like she couldn't even like say like, oh, this is a much older woman. She's just being funny and friendly and stuff like that.
That shit don't mean nothing to me. That don't.
What?
Women older than listen, man, listen. Oh, older women be the freakiest ones. Like, come on, like, listen. I get older women without actually trying to get older women. Like, I don't actually do anything. Literally, I do nothing. Like, it's a common thing for me. It's just very common. You know what I mean? So it's for me personally, I'm so used to it that it's like, it's an everyday thing. But in regards to what you're saying, yeah, it was an insecurity thing for us. It was absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I try to be considerate by saying that if I was in the same position, how would I feel? You know what I mean? So I try not to go too hard, but you have every reason to because you've had bad experience with Virgos throughout your entire life. If it's
Mm-hmm.
anybody that should have a cause to pause, is you. I don't have that many with Virgo, so I'm still young. So I'm still going through the process of living life, and as I get older, I'll eventually have my prejudice turned towards certain people. I haven't developed one for Virgos yet, but I understand where you're coming from, though.
You
And
haven't
of course,
developed one
you
for
know,
Virgo because they'll be willing to do anything to please you just about a lot of time.
why you say that? I mean, besides the general Virgo and service, come
Because
on
that's
now.
how she was with you. She's like, shoot,
Yeah,
you had her doing things that she never even imagined, never
yeah, she
dreamed
was.
of.
I never thought I'd want to suck my toes before.
See, that's what I mean. You don't even get me started on how you
That
did that
shit,
Virgo chick. I'm done.
that
But that's
shit,
what I'm
that shit
saying.
was amazing.
That
That shit was.
Sagittarius and Virgo combination, a lot of times it's just not going to work out, especially long term. Especially when Virgo starts to be all nitpicky and trying to, orchestrate things too much, and they want you to
Absolutely.
text them at a certain time, and oh, you took too long to respond to my text and all this stuff. And, mm-mm.
I could be petty too. I mean, not necessarily. What was that? Not petty, but what was it? What would we call it? Honorary. Like, for
Right.
instance, if we're texting back and forth, and you
Mm-hmm.
go maybe like 20, 30 minutes without texting me,
Mm-hmm.
the next time I text you back, I might cut it in half just to see what happens. If you repeat that action again, I'm gonna do the same thing. If you takes you 30 minutes to text you back, I'm gonna take 31 minutes to text you back. We're gonna do this back and forth until you break the pattern, and then I go back to texting you 5 minutes, 2 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
3 minutes. I've done that consciously. I'll do that just to see. So, even regardless of her, like, she was my high school sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll never throw dirt on her name. It would make no sense for me to get invested into a woman as much as I was, for as many years as I was, and then turn around and throw dirt on her name. But you have all day. You can do whatever the fuck you want to
Nah,
do
I'm
because you
just
have
fucking
every
with you.
reason to.
No, for real. I don't got
'Cause
nothing against that
yeah,
chick.
because
But
Virgos can be crazy.
yeah, and I was just saying that because you're very much about freedom and you're not
Hmm.
ready to settle down. I was like, I can't really see that working because she was trying to settle down with you.
Oh, that's absolutely true. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I have even though I'm kind of, I don't know. We've had this discussion before. You don't think that a traditional relationship fits me based on the way my chart is set up. I'm quite sure you're going to expound on that, but I do get bit by the relationship bug, here and there. Like, recently, I kind of got bit by it, but
Mm-hmm.
with her, you know, I tried it. It was my first legitimate adult relationship, not me just fucking around and having fun and just kind of going through the process of it. But I think it was a learning experience. More than anything, I think it was a greater learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I learned a lot about myself through her, insecurities and all, good and bad, so it allowed me to kind of reevaluate certain things about myself so that going forward, I know what to look out for. You know, um, I think we all got our issues though. And with
Mm-hmm.
me personally, um, I think I got a little too much lust in my system to the point where I don't think that it would benefit me to be trying to invest myself in one girl, knowing that I still have that bloodthirst, so to speak.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now,
I think I have to.
when you say too much lust, and this can very much deal with Scorpio intercepted in your third house,
Mm,
especially to the
mm,
point where you need variety, because that third house is like Gemini. So even if you were in a relationship with a stone cold freak and she was doing everything you wanted, you know, upside down, sideways, every which way, all that, you would probably
Mm-hmm.
still be searching for something more, something, just different. Like, let's say you was with a beauty queen type, right? Then
Yeah.
there would be something that still she's lacking. Maybe her ass ain't big enough or something like that. Or maybe you might even want to, smash an ugly chick just because it's a new experience or something like that. So that Scorpio energy can result in you being tempted, even if you are married, especially because co-ruler of that seventh house, Jupiter, is at the 29th degree of Scorpio, and that can deal with love triangles, and it's conjoined to Pluto. So you mentioned traditional relationship. It's going to be very hard to achieve that, either just on your end or both of your ends. If you try to force it, you can end up attracting a woman that's going to cheat all over you. So either way, that Scorpio energy is going to play out. And then you got
And that's based
Neptune.
on what
Okay.
exactly? Go ahead.
So
And that's based on
Jupiter,
what exactly?
yeah, so Jupiter is co-ruler of your seventh, right? Because you got Pisces on the
Yeah.
seventh.
Yes.
So
H and
yeah,
rule.
yeah, Jupiter is at the 29th degree of Scorpio in the third. And that can deal with, like, even if you're married, you might need variety. But let's say that you project that onto your partner and you're the one that wants to be faithful. She might be the one stepping out on you. So either way, it could be very challenging in that respect. What could help is if you get with an older woman, like I was saying, and that's where Neptune would come in. So Neptune is ruler of your seventh as well. It's in Capricorn. I could deal with you getting with a spouse that's much older in the fifth house. That could be where, there's really love there. Conjoined to Uranus, though, that could be where there's love, but it's more of the friendship type of love. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
More of that dutiful type of love because it's in Capricorn, all that good stuff. So you can go, like, I would definitely say prolong. If you're thinking about marriage, prolong it as long as possible. But I wouldn't get married at all with your chart, especially because you're a man too. You got a lot to lose in that respect. And remember what I told you about children, including
Oh yeah.
children of women that you might be dating. So you got to be very careful when it comes to single moms.
I track a lot of those. It's funny that you mentioned that because you said the love triangles. We've had this discussion recently. I track a lot of women that's in relationships or, involved with their baby fathers or married or even engaged. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I got a chick right now. She's pregnant, but she flirts with me every time, most of the times, every time she see me.
Mm-hmm. I think you
Especially
told
when I
me.
first, and I told you about that, what, a week or two ago. When
Yep.
I first met her, she wasn't pregnant. She was talking about, oh, I got this nigga, he living with me, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to get rid of his ass. He won't go. Then I was talking some shit about it. And she's like, yeah, he ain't going nowhere. I'm like, but you want him to go, but he ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But you flirting with me, you all in my face. And then she disappears and pops up pregnant with by the nigga. But she's all in my
Mm-hmm.
face, complimenting me, telling me how good I look. You so handsome. Da, 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 da. But you fucking pregnant with this nigga baby.
And
There's
I told
another
you that
chick.
could be dangerous.
Yeah, it is. Like, there's another chick. And she's pretty. Other chick, prettier.
Mm-hmm.
She started fucking with me. There was nothing at first. At first sight it was just okay, whatever. And then one day I might have came in. I got my hair rebraided or whatever, and she just gave me that look. And I know anytime a woman give me that look, it's always some shit. And every time we would see each other, we would catch eyes and smile at each other. Never did nothing for about a week or two. I pull a move on her. She's on it. The moment I say something to her, she's up in my face. Like she's up close and personal,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And she's all for it. And then she said, I ain't gonna lie to you. I got a dude, but it ain't really working out. So we can exchange something, we can hang, we can do our thing. I'm like, damn. Like,
Mm-hmm.
typically you would think this is what the female's used to. She's accustomed to meeting a guy that she's like and then finding out he got a girl. Men don't necessarily have that thought process when it comes to women. We don't assume that we attract women who are in relationships or going to attract a woman that's in a relationship. We don't assume that we're going to be in a situation where a woman that's in a relationship is going to entertain us. We immediately assume she's single,
Right.
and in my personal experiences, That's not the case. I've I've attracted countless amount of married women or girls who are in relationships, women that have been engaged, women who just got out of, were involved with niggas that are in jail currently. You know what I mean? I'm fucking a chick and it's a nigga calling from JPay or whatever the case may be. Like, I've been in those sort of scenarios. Like, it's attracting women. Like, even recently, like, it's gotten to a, like, it's gotten crazier, and I never thought it would ever get crazier than I've experienced in my life,
Mhm.
especially off of previous experiences. But it's gotten even more crazier. And I mean, I know I'm a handsome guy, whatever. I do my thing, but it's gotten, like you told me, maybe it's the transit that I got going on or whatever. But it's
Oh
prevalent. I
yeah.
got a chick at my job that she has killer tattooed on her titties, like on her chest. It says killer.
Mhm.
I'm like, what's that tattoo? I see a little bit of it. She like, oh, it says killer.
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
oh, really? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I attract the
But
wildest motherfucking women, man.
with your
So,
hookup, like okay, so Venus and Scorpio alone, and this is to all the guys that are listening, and for the lesbians too. That can result
I
in
attract
you
those two.
attracting women that they're not fully yours. Or where you got, I always say that Scorpio energy, whatever you think is yours is not fully yours. A lot of times it could be that case. So if a man has Venus and Scorpio, especially if it's conjoined to the North Node like yours, oh, you better
Mhm.
trust and believe your girl may not be faithful, or you could be attracting women just like how Bobby is, where they're already in a relationship. They could be married, they could be pregnant, all types of stuff. Let's just keep it real. Venus, when in Scorpio, that's in its what, Bobby?
That detriment.
Detriment,
Detriment.
right? So we got to keep that real. That's not a really good place for Scorpio. I mean, for Venus. So you got to think about the
Hmm.
type of women that Venus and Scorpio can represent. And in the most negative sense, this could be a low down, trashy bitch, like that's into the crime world, that is boosting, that'll cut you, that might even shoot you, where you wake up one day,
Mm.
she got her hands around your throat, that type of crazy chick, the chick that'll stalk you, the chick.
What's the fifth element? What is the fifth degree? I don't mean to cut you off, of course. What does the fifth degree play in the part in this? I think I have Venus and Scorpio at the fifth degree.
Fifth degree, that could deal
So,
with a chick that's real conniving. That, and where she's seeing two guys at the same time, and where if you piss her off and she wants some revenge, she could key your car, slash your tires, because the fifth degree deals with vehicles. So
mhm.
yeah, if you piss off the wrong chick, you may have to deal with some dire consequences, which is why, and again, all men with Venus and Scorpio, you just got to be careful about the type of women you get with. You got to thoroughly check them out, because there could be a lot that's hiding beneath the surface. And some of these chicks could be just trying to get with you for what they can get out the deal, like money or whatever. Or even like, there's women out there that'll use a man for sex, even though a lot of men don't want to believe that. Like some men actually would get off on that, but a lot of men, if they're into, they want a serious relationship and they get with a woman and she just wanted some dick real quick, a man could get, his feelings hurt that way.
Mhm.
I mean, I've broken a
I
few
could
hearts
smell them.
back in my day because, I was just about that one time and they would kept coming back. And I was like, look, nigga, I told you to stop coming back.
Hey, hey, I could smell bad girls.
Hmm.
I could smell the freaks. I could smell the sluts. I could smell them. Like literally, I can smell them. Like a canine can smell cocaine. Like it's just something. I can sense it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
that
I don't know
Scorpio
how
energy again. Venus
I
and
don't know
Scorpio,
I don't
strong senses.
I don't know how I do it. Like I got so many stories. We, I mean, it's ridiculous how many stories I got. It's this chick right now. She about to be 40. I'm not gonna give too much information because I'm paranoid. So I'm not gonna say her sign, even though I want to say her sign.
Hmm.
So she's a water sign though. She's not a Scorpio.
Okay.
And she one of them chicks. She's one of those. The nigga that she really want is locked up. She's with a nigga who has a really good job. He's kind of passive when it comes to her. And when I say kind, I mean very. I'm being I'm being a gentleman. And uh this bitch, she has him wrapped around her finger. She's one, and I always say you have certain women who was doing their thing when they was young, whether they was the bad bitch or not. They was getting it popping when they was young. They either get, ran through or they have their own personal experiences.
I
And then when
hate
they get
that
to a
term
point,
though. I'm
I
sorry
know,
to
I
cut you
know,
off.
I know, I
Y'all
know,
men love to
I
use
know,
that term ran through. Like a dude
I
can't be
know.
ran through. Like or
Men are whores. Men are the biggest whores. Women are just the
right.
greatest.
No, but I just love how men try to act like a woman is just ruined by the number of sexual partners she's had or whatever, or she just ran through. Like y'all just love to use that term, ran through.
Hey, that's a funny. That's a very interesting topic. We could touch on it, but yeah, like I was saying, and they hit a particular age. Most men like to call it the wall. Women call it the wall too. And
Yeah, I
then
was
they say,
gonna mention that next. Yeah.
and then they start dating men that they're not really crazy about, but he's predictable. She knows he's not going to cheat. She knows that he's crazy about her 10 times more than she's ever crazy about him. So she has the upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
She places herself in a position where he's going to do all the things that she wants him to do without stepping on her toes. So with her in particular, and I met plenty of women, they're mostly older women. They're mostly like 35 and up, because women that's younger, they don't really learn the game, or sometimes they get out the game and don't have to deal with it. I usually, and this is a large discussion within the manosphere on social media. We talk about it on a lot of YouTube guys and Twitter guys, whatever the case may be.
You
But
follow
the,
O'Shea?
I know O'Shea. I'm aware of O'Shea. I'm more into Minister Jap, but I know
Okay.
O'Shea.
What about Angry Man?
Um,
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Angry, Angry Man is funny. O'Shea, I like O'Shea, but my only problem with O'Shea is that he I say this respectfully. He's not a he's not a guy who I could take advice from, because he's not a guy that women find attractive or deem attractive.
Amen
So
to
he's
that.
coming from so he's coming from a negative perspective based off his negative experiences. I don't
Mm-hmm.
ha- I would love I remember we had this discussion before, and you talked about the MGTOW, whatever the fuck, men going their own way. My only problem with this, and this is going to be something that you're going to touch on, because you're going to mention my age. But for one, even with my negative experiences that I've had with women, it would be disingenuous of me to generalize women negatively when I know that I've had more positive than I've had negative. I would love to sit here and give the woe is me. Girls used to pick on me. They thought I was ugly. Da, 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 da. Even when I wasn't the most popular, even when I wasn't what I look like today, or whatever the case may be, way before I was even confident in myself, I've always attracted girls. My problem was that I wasn't confident in myself. I didn't know how to assert myself. It
Mm-hmm.
was very inconsistent. It was more about me than it was about them.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that I didn't attract them. I just couldn't keep them because I didn't have that comfort level within myself, within my own skin. But as I got older and I learned myself and I grew and was able to gain more confidence, then I was able to, maintain the attention that I received. So I can't sit here and give the whole bitches ain't shit, they ain't want me when I was, back then and didn't want me now. I'm hot, they all on me. I can't say that, because
Mm-hmm.
throughout my entire life, I've always had them coming at me. I just didn't know how to deal with it. You know what I mean? So with a nigga like O'Shea, he wasn't getting no pussy. Like, nigga ain't getting no pussy. He ain't got, he doesn't
Calypso
have,
organ.
like, come on, man. He ain't making no chick come. He ain't making no chick squirt. He ain't got fucking, I had women like, oh my God, I got kids your age. Like, damn, I could teach you some things. You so handsome. You so,
but
he ain't got
but
nothing.
how about this? You got some advantages in your chart that he probably don't have. Like you got Venus in Scorpio and sextile to your ascendant. That right there can make it easy for you to attract women. And that could deal with you are attractive. And you got Moon conjoined to Uranus, which is like a pussy magnet. So he may not have that hookup. So you're working at an advantage with what's in your chart. And I would say that a lot of the MGTOW men, they're MGTOW because they do have bad luck with, like, they can't attract women like
Yeah,
they want to.
yeah,
Because
of
I
course.
think
Like
a lot of
I've
men that
used,
have good, luck attracting women, they're not MGTOW.
yeah, that's true. Some people say the same thing for feminists. Some people say, the bad bitches, the cream of the crop of the women, don't sit around complaining about men because they capitalize off of men.
Mm-hmm.
They
Oh
capitalize on
yeah.
the ones that are attractive that do it is because they have a personal vendetta, like an Amber Rose, who's so
Right.
tired she has a personal issue with being labeled a whore. She brings it up without anybody ever bringing it up because it's such an insecurity of hers that she can't help but spew it
Let's
because
talk
she's heard
about
it
that for a
before.
minute.
You
Good
know?
point. Because she's this very outwardly sexual woman that, she does the whole slut walk and all this stuff. And of course, we know this is all for men. You know, I mean, I think she's bisexual, but well, I know she is, but this is prime the way she walks, surgeries, all that. This is for men at the end of the day, but it's like she wants to play this feminist role at the same time. And it's like, bitch, who you fooling? Like, come on now. Like,
She, she,
so she,
she's generalizing a personal issue. She's 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 she's
yes,
uh she's pimping and milking a issue that a lot of women who aren't as privileged as her to have, to basically bring more attention to herself. She's a
but
narcissist.
she's a narcissist. And that shows me that although she plays up for men, like you said, she really has a problem with men.
Yeah,
Whereas, women that don't have a problem with men, because I love men. Like, even though, y'all
yeah,
got y'all shit with y'all and all, and sometimes
yeah.
I'll talk a lot
Men
of
ain't
trash
shit.
about men in general. But I honestly
Yeah,
love men and I appreciate men and their contributions to this world and all this type of stuff.
thank you,
You
thank
can see that she's not like that. She doesn't have that appreciation for men in her. She's more of, I'm going to use what I got to get what I want,
you. Yeah,
and it's through men. That's how my life could be easy. Or, like when she got married to Kanye, not married, but when she was dating Kanye West.
of course. She was an opportunist. She's a hustler. I don't never knock nobody playing a game. Everybody can't be good. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Everybody's not gonna be good. Everybody's not gonna be the role model. Somebody got to be the fuck up to teach you not to be the fuck up. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's the duality of life. It's the duality of the universe. You need those, opposite, energies. You need it from one spectrum to another. So you should appreciate a person like Amber Rose because even when she tries not to, she displays her true intentions if you're paying attention to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's so wrapped up in her emotions that she can't help but express them so much. She'll be 40 and she'll still be saying the same things she was saying 9, 10 years ago because she
Right.
can't get over it. She can't get over it inside herself, so she says it outside. She has a problem with it internally, so she expresses it externally. And until she gets over it internally, she won't stop. I mean, Maya Angelou was selling pussy before she became a star poet and a writer, but
Yeah.
she didn't use that as the backbone behind her art. It was
Mm-hmm.
just a part of her experience. She
Yeah.
made an experience. She was stripping when she was a teenager. She ain't stripped. She made a post about it some months ago talking about how she still miss the singles falling on her ass, the smell of pussy and panties. She missed the
She
stripper
said
life.
that.
Yeah, she said it was on the shade room and all that shit.
Oh damn! I need to
And she
get
said
ready on
this
her.
in fall, if I'm not mistaken. She ain't stripped in 10, 15 years.
Mm.
That's a personal
And I
thing.
know she was a carpet muncher. She was born on April 4th. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No
she
wonder
she a
why she
Libra.
said she missed the smell of pussy. She's an Aries.
Yeah. Oh, she's
Four.
Libra.
Wait a minute, it says born April 4th. Maya Angelou?
Oh, I was talking about Amber Rose.
Oh, back to Amber Rose. Now, Amber
Yeah,
Rose,
she
would you have
Libra.
sex with her?
Oh, she a bad bitch, of course.
So you would.
Yes, yes, yes. I will try. I mean, come on now.
What
I
about
don't knock women.
who else?
I
Like,
don't knock.
would you have sex with Nicki Minaj?
Uh, she's I fuck
I
Nicki.
guess that's a no.
See,
Cardi
you
B.
know the problem. See the problem that I have with this is that I remember talking about it with somebody. You know, people would judge these Instagram model chicks for sleeping with these athletes,
Mhm.
and you jump on the comment section, you see all these women like, oh, she's a what do you call them? She a
Mhm.
pass around hoe. Every time you see her, she with another athlete, she with another artist, she another with another rapper, blah 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 blah. And I thought to myself, you know, you can't get mad at these chicks because you ain't got no other options besides minimum wage dick.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? If you put your pussy resume next to her pussy resume, who you think that the average one would rather fuck? The niggas she giving her pussy to or the niggas you giving your pussy to? You get it how you live.
Mhm.
I mean, if you gonna make fun of her, you make fun of India Love for fucking Trey Songz, but you never gave your pussy away to a nigga as attractive to women as Trey Songz. What position are you in to judge her?
Mhm.
Because if you was in that position, you tell me you want to fuck Trey Songz? Because you fuck Pookie and Ray Ray in the hood, and he don't look like Trey Songz. So you trying to tell me if you was in the position you want to fuck Trey Songz? Like I didn't fuck women that don't look a quarter as good as Amber Rose. Who am I to judge and say I want to fuck Amber Rose if I fuck a woman that's a quarter as good as she is?
Well, I'm trying to see where you draw the line. Like,
Now,
does
a
a woman
personal
have to
preference,
have
like
a good head on her shoulders for you to have sex with her, or do you just separate
uh,
women between like,
that,
okay, she's just sex versus a woman
yeah,
that,
yeah, you compartmentalize. You place people within their proper categories. Everybody don't play the same role. You know
well,
what I
to
mean? You got
some
some
people, because
people,
some people are more like, I'm not
yeah, of
trying to have,
course.
because there are men out there that are very selective, where they're like, I'm not trying to
I'm
smash her,
selective too.
she dumb as a box of rocks type shit.
Yeah, I'm selective too. Like, I'm not to say. I mean, of course, within the context. I mean, if I would have met, or if I was to meet Amber Rose and she was an airhead, I won't fuck her. I hate airheads. I hate
And
them.
she
Like
strikes me
literally.
as an airhead. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think she's ignorant, and I think she's emotionally she's emotionally ignorant. So it clouds her judgment pertaining to certain topics. I don't think
Mhm.
she's like I don't think she's like a Paris Hilton airhead. You know what I mean? I don't think she's one of those, but she's not far from it. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
tolerance thing. Like, it's what you're willing to tolerate. If I was able to, I was able to meet her and we spoke on different topics outside of just the feminist thing, outside of the male thing, and we was able to vibe well on those things, I just know I can't talk politics with her. But
Mhm.
if I'm putting my dick in her mouth, we're not doing much talking anyways.
Would you pay for it?
But nah, I don't pay for pussy.
You don't have to.
I don't do that. No, I don't have exactly, exactly, exactly. I told the chick at my job. She's like, I touched her. She's like, oh, that's gonna cost you 15. I'm like, well, I ain't gotta pay for no motherfucking pussy. Come on now. Say that for them old trick niggas that they got a pension. They gotta pay for, to pay to get the pussy because they washed up and they got them limp dicks. I'm not even I'm in my prime. I ain't. Shit, come on now. Come on now.
You could be a gigolo though.
Why you say that?
I told you that before. Kind of what I was
I'm playing.
talking about earlier, where you could attract women that would pay your bills and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not gigolo really in terms of, actually got professional services and stuff, but I'm talking about, woman need a little tune up or something like that, and she like, oh, you
Mm-hmm.
need that car, no pay, baby, that type of stuff. You got it like that.
I,
But I know you want your own. You don't want no woman taking care of you like that
yeah,
because you got business
it's a
ideas
pride.
and goals.
Absolutely. And I
Hmm.
mean, it's a pride thing too. And um, I mean, with the things that I've learned, I'm real cautious. I'm paranoid as fuck sometimes. 'Cause I can overthink in certain ways. Like I was invited to the club one time with a chick. She a hood rat. She a street bitch, but she pretty, big titties. but shit, I know, she was just in a relationship with a nigga in jail. I'm like, how are you in a relationship with a nigga in jail? I'm talking to a chick at my job, cool chick, cool as fuck, but she talking to a nigga in jail. I'm like, niggas in jail got more girlfriends than niggas is out here that's free. Like,
Because
and I,
for some women, that's the safest option.
yeah, I'm like, you don't know what's been, that nigga could be he could be getting tampered with in that prison jail, but it's just one of those things because I attract a variety of different women. I come across so many different, stories,
Hmm.
but at certain times, I put it this way, you'll come across a common thread. You'll start seeing repeats of certain things in certain women. With me personally, I see repeats with women.
Hmm. That's
I'll
that
find
fifth
myself coming.
degree.
You say what?
That's your Venus at the fifth degree. That will deal with repeats and your 5 birth number.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So I'll come across some women do this. I'll come across women with the same name, just said it's just pronounced differently. Same complexion, same sign. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Same name, same complexion, same sign. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like those type of weird scenarios with me, and it's just like after a certain point, I'm like, man, I, I just can't take it. You know what I mean? Like I can't. I be wanting to do the most extreme shit. Even to get back to what you said initially when we first started about the dark shit, like, I be wanting to go all the way with it. But a
Hmm.
piece of me like, nah, that ain't smart.
Hmm.
Nah, that ain't smart. You know what I mean? So I play on the edge the same way I say when it comes to the job. Like the point that I was about to make was that I played on the edge. I'm not trying to get fired. I just play on the edge. You know what I mean? I'll make the most out of the situation. I'll play on the edge. And when I see it's starting to get a little too to the left, a little bit to the right, then I'll fall back. When I was
Hmm.
fucking with the cancer chick that I told you about, when we was fucking around having fun, everything was great. When she started getting possessive, start acting a little crazy, demanding certain things, even though we wasn't together. She said she didn't want to be together. She just wanted to have fun. When she started acting a little weird, that's when I started saying, it's about that time.
Hmm.
But the tempting part of the fact that she had a man, her baby father, he wasn't, aggressive sexually. And even in my previous relationship, I wasn't like yanking my girl up. Our relationship is different. Like they say, different people brings different sides out of you. And we had such a sexual intensity that she gave me the feeling that she wanted to be choked. You know what I'm saying?
I knew that was
So
coming.
I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I would like yank her up, and the more I would grab her, the harder she would moan. And the
Hmm.
more she would moan, the more excited it made me. So I would do it even more. You know what I'm saying? She would beg me to do it. She would grab my hand and put it around her throat, like, and tell me I could do whatever I wanted to her. And I told you before, you don't tell somebody like that, like me, that, because
Right.
I'll think of all sorts of things.
All that
You know what I mean?
Scorpio
So
energy. Hmm.
exactly. So I was placed in a dilemma. She hit the lottery for a couple of $1,000s. How much I don't know. I didn't ask. It's not my business. I respect the
Hmm.
boundaries. But I knew she stacked. She had some bread. And she's like, I was gonna spend money on you for your birthday, but you fucking around. I'm like, all right, because it's gonna come back to bite me in the ass. If I don't want to commit to you, but you spending money on me, the moment I fall back, you say, well, I did this for you, I did that for you, I did
Right.
this. It only enhances, only intensifies the scenario, which places me in a more compromising position. And that's the
Hmm.
last thing I want to be is in a compromising position. So I took the L. People like, well, you stupid nigga, she just hit the lottery, nigga. You need to give her some dick, fuck this bitch. And then, she gonna spend money on you, yada, yada, yada. Nah, that's a trap.
Yup.
You gotta know a trap when you see one, nigga.
Right.
You think I done survived in these inner cities and moving around and I move. I'm a loner. I don't hang out with a whole bunch of niggas. I don't trust people enough to hang out with a whole bunch of niggas. So I didn't get to this point being 25 this year without a criminal record. I've never been robbed. I've never been beat up. I've never been ran out the hood. Never. And I say this respectfully because I'm not trying to bring that negative energy on me.
Hmm.
But I'm being honest. I haven't reached this point by making dumb decisions.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much I want to play on the edge, I know certain things, certain lines just aren't meant to be crossed. And when you're dealing with women and emotions, the last thing you want to do is turn them into a scorned woman
Right.
because you place yourself in a very dangerous position. So I was willing to fall back from her, even though I was tempted with the possibility of being able to control her sexually.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't worth the risk. And I told you before, I have a risk and reward system. I had this one chick back when I was living in the other city. And you know me, I love chocolate women. They're my weakness.
Mm-hmm.
I love a fine ass dark skin. I don't give a fuck what nobody else says. I know that, everybody like the foreign hoes and the light skin, and they're great. I love all women. Don't get it twisted. I love all women. But my weakness, if you want to get my attention, a fine dark skin every day of the week and twice on the weekend. So, and she was chocolate and thick and had the tongue pierced. I knew she was a freak. Everything about her screamed freak. She had her fucking ass had 5 kids by like 3 niggas, 5 or 6 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I know she'll suck the skin on my dick. I know she would. I just know it. But it ain't worth it.
Right.
Cause out of all them fucking kids, she gotta know one or two of them niggas is penitentiary niggas, in and out of jail. We're in a
Mm-hmm.
low income environment. She's an attractive woman based by hood standards, because outside of her element, she wouldn't be much to look at.
Right.
But within her within that environment, she's a dime. And chicks like that attract certain type of guys. And the fact that she had those amount of kids, meaning she's involved in that type of lifestyle. She's accustomed to that type of lifestyle. So if she's dealing with penitentiary dick type of niggas, I'm placing myself in a compromising position fucking with a woman like her, even if it is just for one time.
Look, let me stop you right there because what you're describing is you got the asteroid Lilith right on Neptune. And that's you attracting these women that got these jailhouse dudes just waiting to come out and fuck you up because you messing with their chick. But yeah, it could deal, but that can also deal with you attract a lot of women that want to have a secret affair with you as well. Or they want you to fulfill their fantasy, all that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
I gotta go soon because I gotta do a reading in 10 minutes. But just to wrap things up, I think, talking about Lilith being conjoined to your Neptune, I don't know if I mentioned that during your video reading before. And you got Mercury conjoined to Eros. So that does like reinforce that strong Scorpio energy you're dealing with because both Eros and Lilith are very sexual asteroids. So
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting. You also got Mercury conjoining Pandora, and that could deal with that situation when you were younger. But I want to end this interview with the story that you told me yesterday about the two Uber drivers, because that very much deals with Scorpio intercepted in your third, and I'll tell you in a minute why. And then with Mars, ruler of Scorpio, being in the 12th house in Leo. So, the third house deals with cars, deals with travel,
Mm-hmm.
and it deals with communication. And then Mars in Leo at the 28th degree, I told you that 28 could deal with cars as well. That could
Mm-hmm.
deal with men talking to you. But because Mars is in the 12th house, again, it could be like a guardian angel speaking through these men, telling you some
Yeah.
things that become synchronicity. So share that story. First, talk about, your problems with being employed because you feel like you're destined for something greater, and then follow it up
Yeah.
with your experience the other day.
Yeah. So you know, like I said, it's always everything when it comes to me is about freedom. Whether it's freedom of expression, freedom of thought, freedom to be who you want to be. So, since I was 19, I always said, man, I don't want to be doing this shit for the rest of my life. I look at my parents, I look at the people that's in my environment, you know, the the everyday thought process is you graduate, you either go to college or you get a job. And then when you go to college, you get a job anyway. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So nobody talks about, man, be an entrepreneur. Try to be a millionaire. Be a billionaire, be an entrepreneur, be self-employed, be a mogul. Nobody shoots for the stars. Everybody just stays at this average level. And my biggest fear is in death. My biggest
Mhm.
fear is mediocrity. You know what I mean? So with me personally, I just don't find, I feel like working at regular jobs, it kind of just sucks the creativity out of me. It
Mhm.
sucks me dry. You know what I mean? Like a leech. You know what I mean? The more I go, the less energetic I am. The more I'm sleepwalking. The more I'm, in my own mind, imagining and daydreaming rather than
Mhm.
doing the things I actually want to do. So I've been in the process of working on my own shit. I took care of my medical bill debt, so I spent 2 grand on medical bills and other things. So I took care of all my debt, and I got a 700 plus credit score on both of them, my Equifax and my TransUnion.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Congrats.
So I took, thank you. You know what I'm saying? So I took care of that. And I've been just setting things aside. Like I said, I've been buying books, astrology books. I was talking to you about the business act, things I was talking about with the girl in California and
Mhm.
everything in between. I got my brokerage accounts, so I started doing my trading in the stock market and things of that nature. So
Nice.
thank you. I've been trying to set my foundation up for the first couple of months of the year so that I can start getting to where I really want to do. You know what I mean? And establishing myself as an entrepreneur and connecting with people and making sure that my foundation is strong. So with this being on my mind recently, I said, previously throughout this conversation about how I was taking time going into work because I wasn't enthusiastic to go to work on time. I went to work just the other day, and when I got into the Uber in the morning, the guy started off the conversation was very, very dry. We wasn't speaking about much. But when I told him what I was doing, he went on a long tangent talking about self-employment and look at all these white folks making all this money compared to y'all. And, you got this guy, they're making this amount of money per hour, per day. It's easy for them to give you the rate that they have, they're giving you currently because they're making so much. You're helping the next person build their dream instead of working towards your own. You know what I mean? Look at, he compared himself. He said, hey, I got this credit building assistant company where I'm helping people build up their credit, coincide what I told you about my credit. On.
Mhm.
So he started talking about that. He's kind of like, man, it's all about being self-employed and, doing your thing and blah, 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 blah. I chop it up with him. I go on my day. I thought to myself, that's kind of weird, man. It's the same shit I've been thinking about, the same things I've been focusing on the past since forever. So when I got off of work, I got into another Uber, another black man. He's talking about it. He goes on a long tangent talking about self-employment. He's talking about, not being a slave to a 9 to 5 and not being entrapped by the walls that's surrounded by you, that's being inside the actual, warehouse. And, how, people, reason why people love driving Uber is because they feel like they're free. You're in your own
Right.
car, you're driving, you know what I mean? You're kind of doing your own thing. You're not confined by a ceiling. You're not confined by a wall. You know what I mean? People feel like they're entrapped. That's why they're not as energized going into jobs. And he talked
Mhm.
about how he was buying products and reselling them on eBay, and the power of being self-employed and the power of being an entrepreneur, have an understanding of your worth, and trying to do more for yourself, try to set yourself up not just for you but for your future children. Now, even though he had older children, he was still doing things for them. And he
Right.
said, hey, what I'm telling you right now, it may not be for you. The examples that I'm setting or I'm telling you based on what I'm doing may not be best for you. You might think it's corny, but I might
Mhm.
inspire you to do what I'm doing, but better. You might come up with a better idea than what I'm doing. And
Mhm.
then you might come up with a better idea, tell the next person they might do something better than you. It's all about helping the next person. As a black man, I want to give you this information because I know that you're young. You're doing the same thing that I was doing when I was your age, working these warehouse jobs. You should want more for yourself. And as a
Mhm.
black man, I want more for you. So you can choose to take this advice. You can choose to do something with it. But regardless, I'm giving it to you. And at
And
that point, I was mind fucked.
But
I
that,
was
yeah, that's the
mindful.
universe basically speaking through them, and that's confirmation that you're headed in the right direction just by your mind alone being focused. And I told you, I was like, once you get your mind right and like really focus on, you know, building your business, people are going to come into your life that are going to be
Yeah,
supportive, that are going to encourage you, and you can even attract people that will help to fund your business. And
you did say that.
yeah, and real quick, I was telling you too when we did the video natal chart reading, I was like, you know, don't make the mistake that I did and find yourself locked into employment situations for years. I was like, find your purpose, get into business, start a business as soon as possible while you're young, so you don't waste all this time being employed. And you know, some people
Mhm.
employment is for, but with you and with your chart, most definitely you're meant to be an entrepreneur, especially with that moon in Capricorn. You know, Sagittarius, we're just not really built for employment situations, period, especially very
Mhm.
rigid employment
Yes,
situations. But with
yes.
that being said, I gotta run. But thank you so much, Bobby. I really enjoyed
Mm.
this conversation as always,
Me too.
and I look
Always.
forward to being your teacher. And I'm
Yes.
just putting it out there as well that, you know, I do teach classes. So if anybody was interested in taking my astrology course, I teach as at the beginner, intermediate, and advanced level, as well as I teach tarot, and I do the video natal chart readings as well. So if you're interested in finding out about your life, like how Bobby is gaining a lot of insight into his life, and
Yes.
his astrology is really helping him to carve out his future and take more control of his destiny. And that is one of the benefits of astrology, being
Absolutely.
empowered by understanding how the planets, the signs, the stars, all of that affect our lives. So again, thank you very much, Bobby, and I'll be in touch soon.
Thank you.
I'll be uploading this video probably in an hour or so because I got to do a reading. But yeah,
Oh
so
wow.
yeah, I got to do a reading right
I
after
look
that in like a minute.
okay. I look forward to it. Thank you, Ruben. I appreciate you. Everything that you've done, everything that you said. I look forward to speaking to you soon and seeing the response. This will be quite interesting.
You are very welcome. All right, peace, many blessings. I'll be back with more videos. Stay tuned.